On a night when lightning tore across the sky, a monster woke up. Not just any monster, a creature so powerful that entire kingdoms refused to even speak its name. Because legend said, if it ever rose from the mountains, an entire city would vanish before sunrise. That creature was Fangor, an SS-class catastrophe, a beast whose claws could split fortress walls, whose roar alone could send armies fleeing in terror. And on that storm-filled night, 4 humans stood in its path. 4 adventurers, 4 warriors against a creature the size of a castle. Across the continent, they were known by a single name, Fire Dragon Fang, a party so legendary that kings themselves requested their aid. Villagers had gathered every coin they possessed to hire them, because if Fangor wasn't stopped tonight, no one behind those city walls would survive. Lightning flashed, rain poured, and the battle began. Before we go deep into the story, please like, comment, and subscribe. The first hero stepped forward, a towering knight clad in black steel armor. His name was Garen Draven, a warrior who had personally slain 3 dragons. His sword alone was said to be worth more than a noble's estate. Beside him stood a woman cloaked in shadow, her eyes sharp, her movements silent. Mira Vance, the assassin known as the Phantom Blade. They said she could cross an entire battlefield before anyone realized she had moved. Then there was the third member, a tall mage whose cloak burned with crimson magic. Kalis Thorn, a master of flame. His spells could turn entire forests into ash. Together, these 3 warriors were unstoppable. But behind them stood someone who didn't look like he belonged there at all. A boy, no armor, no weapon, just simple clothes and quiet eyes. His name? Ren Kaizen. And according to nearly everyone who knew the party, Ren was completely useless. Thunder exploded across the mountains. Then Fangor roared. The sound shook the earth. The monster charged. Garen moved first, his sword carved through the rain as he sprinted forward. Kalis raised his staff. A massive inferno spiraled into the sky. Mira vanished. 1 second she was standing beside the group. The next, she was already behind the monster. The battlefield erupted into chaos, and Ren ran directly toward Fangor, but not to fight, to distract it. The monster's claw came crashing down like a falling building. Ren barely rolled out of the way. Stone exploded where he had been standing. Another claw, another dodge, and another. From a distance, it looked like a terrified boy desperately running for his life. But in reality, Ren was buying time. Every second he survived was another opportunity for his teammates to attack. Flames slammed against Fangor's scales. Magic chains wrapped around its legs. Blades pierced its armored hide. For nearly 10 minutes, the battle raged across the plains, until suddenly, everything went wrong. With terrifying speed, Fangor broke free. Its massive tail swung across the battlefield. One of the warriors was struck head-on. The impact shattered armor like glass. The fighter crashed into the ground and didn't move. For a brief moment, the battlefield froze, except for one person, Ren. Without hesitation, the boy sprinted forward. He slid across the mud beside the fallen warrior, placed his hands over the broken armor, and whispered something so quietly no one heard it. A faint green light appeared. Bones realigned. Blood stopped flowing. Energy returned to the body. Within seconds, the warrior gasped, alive. Ren had just performed a miracle, but no one even noticed, because at that exact moment, Mira's shadow chains locked Fangor in place again, and Garen saw his chance. The knight roared, jumped into the air, his sword ignited with blazing magic. Then he plunged the blade straight into Fangor's heart. The monster screamed, a sound that echoed through the mountains. Then its massive body collapsed. The ground shook, dust filled the air, and just like that, The battle was over. The city had been saved. But Ren never saw the victory because Fangor's final attack had knocked him unconscious. When Ren woke up, the city was celebrating. Fireworks exploded in the sky. Music echoed through the streets. People cheered the legendary heroes, Fire Dragon Fang, the saviors of the kingdom. But Ren stood alone at the edge of the crowd. No one thanked him. No one spoke to him. Most people didn't even realize he had been part of the battle. And the next morning, everything changed. The heroes gathered in a massive banquet hall. Food covered the tables, wine flowed endlessly. But Garen looked annoyed. He glanced across the table at Ren. "Go cook something better," the knight said. Ren immediately stood and went to the kitchen, just like he always did. For months, he had cooked their meals, cleaned their armor, handled every small task, and he never complained, because he believed they were his friends. But when he returned with the food, the room felt different, cold. The three heroes stared at him. Garen spoke first. "Ren, this will be the last meal we eat from you." Ren blinked. "What do you mean?" The knight leaned back. "You're expelled from the party." The words hit him like a blade. "Why?" Garen sighed, as if it should be obvious. "You're weak." Ren froze. "You can't even defeat a slime. Our party must remain at 4 members. We're recruiting a stronger mage." Ren's voice trembled. "But I heal everyone. I support." "Support?" Garen laughed. "You're baggage." Silence filled the room. Ren slowly fell to his knees. "Please, I'll work harder." But Garen shoved him aside, hard. "Get out." And just like that, Ren Kaizen lost everything. Days later, Ren arrived in the massive trade city of Aurelion. He had almost no money and nowhere to go, so he walked into the Adventurers Guild. The receptionist greeted him kindly, but when he explained he had once been part of Fire Dragon Fang, her eyes widened. "That party is nearly SS rank." Ren nodded quietly. "And they expelled you?" "For being weak." The woman hesitated, then said softly, "Let's run an aptitude test." Ren felt hope. Maybe he could still become an adventurer. Maybe he could prove he wasn't useless. The results arrived, and the receptionist went pale. Strength, minimal. Combat ability, none. Magic power, negligible. The lowest scores the guild had ever recorded. "I'm sorry," she whispered. Ren forced a small smile. "It's okay." Inside, something shattered. The guild offered him only one job, manual labor, carrying construction materials. Ren accepted immediately because he had no other choice. His first assignment was repairing the massive outer wall of the city. The manager looked him up and down. "You look weak." But they needed workers, so Ren was hired. His job was simple: mix cement, carry it up the scaffolding, reinforce the wall. Ren worked quietly, but without realizing it, he began adding magic energy into the mixture, something he had done his entire life. To him, it was normal. 3 hours later, the manager returned. He expected half a barrel finished. Instead, the entire wall section was complete, perfectly reinforced. "Did you do this alone?" the manager asked. Ren nodded nervously. "I'm sorry, was it wrong?" The manager stared in disbelief. "You just completed a month's of work in 3 hours." Even more shocking, the wall had become nearly indestructible. The manager handed Ren a heavy bag of coins. "Take this and leave." Ren thought he was being fired, but the manager shook his head. "If you stay, no one else will have work." Then he whispered something strange. "You belong in the capital." That was when Ren met Lyra Valen, a mysterious young woman searching for workers. Her mine was failing. Professional miners cost too much, so she took a gamble. "Fine," she said. "You can come." The mine sat deep in the mountains. There was only one small tent. Ren turned bright red. "I'll sleep outside." She smirked. She had been testing him, and his answer impressed her. The next morning, Ren started digging, but instead of randomly striking the rock, he studied it, the patterns, the minerals, the flow of magic within the earth. Then he swung his pickaxe once and pulled out a chunk of high-grade ore worth 3 gold coins. Lyra's jaw dropped. Within hours, Ren had gathered an entire pile, but he didn't stop there. Instead, he did something impossible. He condensed the ore into pure magic crystals, a technique only master mages knew, and Ren did it in seconds. When Lyra sold the crystals in the city, merchants nearly fainted. Each crystal contained 10 times the normal magical energy. They bought 50 crystals for 500 gold coins. The next day, Lyra returned to the mine, expecting Ren to still be digging. Instead, he had built an entire house, overnight, alone. Ren looked confused. Everyone in my village built houses like this. That's when Lyra realized something terrifying. Ren wasn't weak. He had simply grown up somewhere where everyone was unbelievably powerful. Meanwhile, Fire Dragon Fang was collapsing. Without Ren's support, their missions failed, arguments erupted, and the legendary party disbanded. But one member, Mira Vance, went searching for Ren. When she finally found him, she delivered shocking news. The party is gone. Ren looked stunned. I wanted to return someday. Mira shook her head. They never deserved you. And soon, the entire kingdom would learn the truth. The boy they called weak was actually the most powerful human alive, and he still had absolutely no idea.